Well, hey gang, how you doing? It's Jonathan again for Tailhunter International. Time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report, and this is coming to you from La Paz, Baja, Mexico, covering all of the fishing action for our Tailhunter sport fishing fleet down in La Paz, Baja, Mexico. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for subscribing. I've got a lot to tell you about. Yeah, that's Caitlin back in the video behind us there, our rescue cat that we found in the trash here a couple years ago. But listen, glad to have you here. Appreciate you taking the time. Let's talk about some fishing. You know, it was, we had a full moon this week. We had some winds this week, but you know what? We had some of the best fishing, maybe the best fishing we've had in this whole young season. We didn't have a lot of fish, but I'll tell you what, the quality of the fish and the number of species we had is incredible. As I often say, this is transition time. We've got cold water fish on their way out, but still willing to bite. We've got warm water fish all moving in. Waters are getting warmer. We've got surface temperatures, I think about 80 degrees, 81 degrees, maybe as low as 78. The thermocline's about 30 feet down, running about 75 or so. But the waters are getting warmer. The waters are getting bluer. All these species are just, mixing in. We probably had, 14 different species that I counted this week. For a lot of people, like I said, we didn't maybe catch as many fish as last week, but that's because the quality of the fish was so much better this week. A lot of people got their personal best, their biggest fish, their first fish, their biggest tuna, their biggest dorado, their first roosterfish. We got some of the biggest fish that we've gotten this season. And let me tell you about the mix. Inshore, we'll start with that. With the sort of smaller fish. Pargo, cabria, three kinds of pargo. We had dogtooth snapper, we had pargo lisa, we had barred pargo, all of those in the rocks. We did have some yellowtail hookups, so the yellowtail are still here. We didn't land any, but we know they're there. They bit the iron for those guys who knew how to yo-yo, and also biting the slow-trolled rapalas. We also had some pompano. Take a look at some of these photos that I've got here. Look at the size of these pompano. In the 25 years I've been here, I've never seen pompano this big. They're related to amberjack, they're related to yellowtail, they're related to jack crevalle, they're related to roosterfish. But unlike some of those other species, the pompano are incredible eating. One of my favorite sashimi meats, actually. It's white, it's translucent, they fish, they fight hard, and look at the size of some of these things. A lot of folks got their first pompano, and we had about 2 or 3 days of some rampant pompano, and this is the time. So be aware that they're biting, and they're biting right offshore, right where the sand kind of drops off from the shallow area into the little deep area. So maybe 20, 30, 40 yards off the beach, these pompano are biting there. We also had jack crevalle in the area, and that's the inshore fishing is always there. It's spectacular right now, and the cat's trying to walk into the video. But that was going on. It's always there. But you know what? Just a little bit offshore, and we don't have to go very far. The tuna showed up. We had the best tuna bite of the year so far. Normally this is about the time the tuna showed up, but for the last 2 or 3 years, the tuna seem like they've taken up residence. And having more anglers on the water, having more bait in the water, I think brought the tuna closer into shore. We got some 40, 50, 60, 80-pound tuna this week. We had some of especially our first timers. Imagine someone who's never caught anything bigger than maybe a 12-inch trout hooking onto a 60 or 70-pound fish, fighting it for an hour, 2 hours. We had one guy fighting a fish, a lot of fun, 3.5 hours. He fought the fish for so long, this big tuna that he hooked, that his buddy didn't even get to fish. He said, well, I sat there and drank tequila. Oh, my buddy was hanging on this fish all day long, and it towed the ponga around. But he did get the fish to the boat. They also told me there's some 100-pounders out there. They said the fish were crashing. I mean, if you can imagine these fish going, coming up and taking the bait. Sometimes they said, it was frustrating because they would not take the lures, they wouldn't take the bait. But imagine having these huge fish crashing all around you. But then again, some people got hooked up and were on for the fight of their lives. And some great meat. They brought a lot of this fish back to our Tailhunter restaurant. We were doing up sashimi and poke and grilled and seared and all the different ways you can eat tuna. So very exciting that we've got the tuna back in. We also got some larger dorado this week as well. Some 20 to 40-pound fish are out there. We hooked some wahoo this week. None got to the boat, but we got our rapalas did get chomped, so we know those are still out there as well. And the biggest story, this is roosterfish season. La Paz is known as the roosterfish capital of the world, the 114-pound world record caught here. We've had some fish bigger than that. We've had fish up to 150 pounds that we've released that would have broken the world record. Well, this week, I mean, I want you to stop for a minute. Take a look at this video, and it's something I've never seen in more than 2 decades down here. This video was taken by Patty and Jeff Killian. They got 3 big roosters out of this, but imagine over 100 roosters, 40 to 50 pounders crashing in the surf. Watch this.
Oh, hit me like this.
Oh, wow. That was fun.
Okay, the rooster fish are getting on bait fish here, and they are jumping out of the water. You can see their rooster fins. I'm never fast enough in my video. Out here a little further. It's just a feeding frenzy.
Right, we over there.
Oh, wow. And we troll through there, and we've gotten 3 large rooster fish already. A couple 40, 45 pounders. Big ones. And here comes John and Tracy. Da-da-da.
Is that not incredible or what? I mean, fish right on the surface, right near shore, smacking the bait, chomping on the bait schools. And this is around the northern side of La Paz, right around Tecolote Beach. We don't often see that many roosters there. We don't often see this amount of roosters there. This was crazy, crazy fishing, and the captains verified that they've never seen anything like this. There are so many roosters up at the north end of La Paz, as well as over our normal area around Las Arenas, Muertos Bay, Punta Perico, and those areas as well. We got some fish in the 20, 30, 50, 60. We even got one that we estimate at about 95 pounds. And that's the captain telling me 95 pounds, not the clients. You know, the clients usually tend to, push the size a little bit larger than normal. But this is the captain telling me a 95-pound rooster. All the fish caught and released. For a lot of folks, their first rooster, their biggest rooster. So really, really exciting stuff, especially to have folks that usually don't fish in the ocean. They're from Montana, they're from Colorado, they're from Wyoming, they're from Idaho, places like that. So very exciting to have them down here. So looking at a lot of great things. Check out all the photos this week. We're really excited to have you coming down. A lot more folks coming down. So if you're coming down, we'll see you real soon. Thanks for checking in. This is going to do it for Jonathan and the Mexican Minute La Paz Video Fishing Report. God bless. Take care. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you next week.